Okay, welcome back everybody to the session on objectives and key results. It's going to be easy, you'll love it. So let's start with, I'll just go to the top right again. I'll go to settings. And now I want you to go across to the Teams page. And once again, there's a video here just showing you how it works. And on this page, as we talked about on the flip chart session, 4 attributes of org design, which will accelerate how you collaborate with your colleagues. You'll be able to do everything in seconds without having to remember people's names. So I'll just put a couple of examples here. So let's just say we have an executive team here, and I'll put myself in the executive team. So I'll just type Ash. There I am. And under geography, I think it's a good tip just to create an all. In future, we'll have an org-wide one, and just build your hierarchy underneath that. So you might have USA, and let's have Europe, and I've got teams in APAC as well, and then within APAC we've got Australia. So I'll add myself to the Australian team. Okay, so therefore anything that's sent to all will come to me, anything that's sent to APAC will come to me, and of course anything sent to Australia will come to me. Likewise, you use the same feature for adding people to cards and boards. That's enough for now. I could build all this out, market verticals, who we serve, horizontals if you have them, normally something for larger companies. Okay, let's jump out of there. So you remember we have the strategy for the next 1 to 3 years is to build out this consumer brand for this seafood company. And to do that, we've worked out, hey, we need to do these 3 things. For the sake of training, I'm going to create a fake goal here, and just to keep it simple, and then for this onboarding, and then you can follow it through in your own org and work on that with your colleagues. So I'll go back to the edit mode. I'm just going to move this over to the right. And let's say, just for fun, my strategic goal is to have more fun. I know that's not realistic, but this is just for the purpose of training, right? So we've got this strategic goal to have more fun. I want that to be achieved by this company in the next 1 to 3 years. And to achieve that, we might have determined that there's a couple of sub-goals below that. So we're going to, first of all, we're going to throw lots of parties. That's certainly going to help us have more fun. And I think also if you hire more Australians, for sure, you're going to have a lot more fun. So back to now the presentation mode or hierarchy mode. You see now we've got 2 goals for this company. If I hover down here, we've got throw lots of parties and hire more Aussies. So I can click on that, and if I'm presenting my strategy, or if I want to work on this or this in one click, I'm into that aspect of the strategy, and it's live and interactive and happening in front of me. So let's say for this goal to throw lots of parties, I've decided this quarter I want to throw a mega party. And I'll set it for the objective starting place from the 1st through to the end of the quarter. And I'll just save that. And now you can see, including the progress, how are we going with this next quarter to throw a mega party. So you remember from the flip chart session, you basically set your strategy tree is setting the direction for the next 1 to 3 years. And this is where the leadership team, together with all the levels of the company, frontline employees, everyone, can participate and engage on the strategy. It's no longer static. It's not fixed in PowerPoint. No change management programs because we're adjusting the strategy. We're adjusting it because we should be. It's alive and interactive. It's not static. It's always evolving based on what we're learning. That's next gen leadership, and that's powered by StratApp. It's the whole basis of the app. And then we want to go, right, for the next month or quarter, remember, if you're a startup or a small company, you might set it out monthly. Most companies around the world, right back since OKRs were created by Andy Grove and Intel in the 60s and brought to fame by Google in the 90s, and really popular worldwide since about 2018. That's when it's really taken off through Europe and Asia as well, of course, the US. So this is where you're going to specify what are we going to get done towards this strategy. And you can hang your OKRs, your objectives, off any point in the tree. And that's the way it works in the real world. So when you look at this, you'll determine the quarter based on interpreting the strategy and what needs to be done. So you might not set objectives for all of your sub goals this quarter or your main goal. You might just say, hey, let's focus on the branding aspects. Before we can validate demand, for example, we need to actually have a website and a brand that we can throw out there and run some validation tests. So we'll do that next quarter. This quarter, let's just get the brand set up so that's ready to go. And then that's what you would rally the company around to do for this quarter. That's your key capability. So that's what would appear on this OKR page. But in our example, we're going to throw a mega party, far more important, and hire more Aussies in the next quarter perhaps. So with objectives and key results, remember from the flip chart session, you set the objective, and then you also want to specify how you're going to measure whether it was successful or not, so that it also sets a context for how the objective should be approached and run, and of course measured at the end of the day by the company. So what are we going to do to say, have we had a mega party? So when I run workshops like this, these are the typical responses I get. So number of attendees is a common one. So 10,000 attendees could be an example. And we're going to set the period to run over the same for the sake of this example. You could do sub times, of course, but let's just do the same. We've got no starting actual. We haven't started with people attending the party. It's just going to be 0, and then we're going to hopefully get to 10,000. And maybe our stretch target is 15,000 attendees. So there you go. We've got 10,000 attendees. So that's there. And then I live in a very conservative part of Australia. So another measure that comes up here is noise complaints. You know you're having a good party if you're getting noise complaints in Australia. It's just the way it's become, unfortunately. So let's say we've got 50 there, and I'll save that. There we go. So there's our objective for the quarter, and we're going to have these as the key results. We know we're on the right track and succeeding on that objective if we achieve these two things. I was doing this the other day. I won't name the country and another continent, and it was they had a number of people who black out as their target on measuring the success of a mega party. And one thing I'll show you here, as you go through the quarter, so imagine this was something that was progressing through the quarter, you would just update the actuals and you get a chance to confirm it, and then the status automatically rolls up, right, as you move through the quarter. So that's that progress there, and then it automatically rolls up, and you can adjust the weighting. So if you were to open up this card, you could actually say, look, the number of attendees is far more important than noise complaints. So let's just make that a relative measure, and then you can see it actually moves the top progress bar along a little bit further. So you'll notice through the app, the properties are inherited based on the creator, but you can actually change it later, right? So it's inherited my properties because we added myself to those two teams before. But you could actually say, hey, this mega party is actually taking place in Europe, even though I've created it, say US, even though I've created it based in Australia, it's a US thing. And it's not really for the executive, it's for the whole company. If you had more functions, right, you could split that out there. So the beauty of that then is you're able to then filter on your key objectives for the quarter based on the teams you're in, and also the ones you own, of course. And if I click that, it's going to show them all because I'm the owner at the moment. So that's the other point. You can assign ownership down through here. We're going to teach you how to do that on the cards. So we'll be getting right into connecting the work now. That's what we're going to do next on this onboarding experience, rapid onboarding experience. So we're going to say, right, let's get this party organized, and then show you the hierarchy of content, and then we'll move into how the cards and security, everything else works. So right now, what you can do as an exercise for the next step is pick one aspect of your tree. So it could be a goal or a sub goal, or you could just copy this party structure into your org, so you can play around with that with your colleagues as an exercise. And then wherever you choose, just choose an objective to add for the quarter. So remember, we did it here under throw lots of parties. So we actually added it there, and we came here and we added the objective, and then that'll automatically appear on the OKRs page. Okay, that's there's many ways to do it, but that's the best way to do it just for the purpose of this training for now. Okay, good luck with that. A little bit of homework, and then I'll see you on the next flip chart session.